The following portion of Studio 10 is a paid advertisement.
Welcome back to Studio 10. Auto accidents, from the smallest fender bender to a full-blown pileup, are traumatic for all involved. In the midst of the chaos, there are definite steps that you could take that will affect the type of insurance compensation you will receive. Back with us today to give us some insight are Mark Perenich and Matthew Noyes from the law firm of Perenich and Carroll. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
Thank you,
Tim.
Jim.
It's
Good
a
morning.
pleasure. Always good to see you.
Yes, it is. So, you get in the accident. Little or small, but the bigger, the more confusion there is, the more disarray, the smashing, the crashing, the noise. You said there's an emotional state of uncertainty.
There sure is.
What is that?
Well, let me start out with what everyone can really appreciate, and that's those new Volkswagen commercials. People are going along, they're occupied with issues in their life, maybe talking to family members. Next thing, totally unexpected, they're in an accident, and we sometimes forget as drivers that those other cars are big pieces of steel, and they have mass and they have effect, and next thing, you're in an accident, you're in shock, you don't know what to do. Whatever you were planning to do that day is now changed into something else, and then you're hurting, you go to the emergency room. In some cases, you could have a loss of a husband, or in really bad cases, a son or a daughter. Who do I turn to? Who do I talk to? And I can't tell you how many people, and I think Matt's experienced this, come into our office and say, this is the last place I would ever, I'm a Republican. I don't know why I'm here in an attorney's office. This is the last place
I'm a taxpayer, I have rights.
The last place I ever thought I would be. And so we've been doing this a long time, some 22 years, and I understand when people come in, the mixed emotions they have, the state of uncertainty, the loss of hope, the concerns they have, how are they going to get their cars repaired, and where are they going to get medical care? And I'm sure, Matt, you've gone through that.
And it goes past just that immediate time of the accident. I mean, someone may be going to pick up their child from daycare. All of a sudden they're in this collision. They can't pick up their child, and so who are they supposed to get in touch with? The car's in disrepair. How are they going to be able to get their job and do what they need to do? They're hurt. How are they going to be able to work to be able to pay the mortgage and stuff like that? All these questions go far beyond just the physical injury. It's the mental injury as well that not only affects the person involved in the accident, but really all the close ones around them, the whole family is affected.
So, they turn to us for guidance, for a safe harbor, if you will. Come sit down, let's talk about it. What can we do? And we can address those issues, those concerns that they're experiencing in their lives. One of the things that we've been doing for years, just as a pure service for our clients, is to help them with their property damage. They come in and they say, they're going to declare my car a total loss. What does that mean? What am I entitled to? And a lot of firms, they don't really focus on that issue, but it's usually that issue that's giving them great concern. How am I going to get back on the road? How am I going to get going with my life? And why now am I going to have to spend all my spare time dealing with doctor's appointments and all the other things that are aggravating, and statements? Insurance companies are calling them, they hardly get home. We need a statement from you. We can't pay your property damage till we hear who caused your accident.
What am I supposed to say? Who am I supposed to say it to? All those questions. Someone who's not ever been involved in an accident has all those questions of uncertainty.
A lot of people don't understand what they own in their car, how much equity it does or doesn't have. If you're coming out of one car that you had maybe a negative equity situation,
right,
getting into a new car,
right,
there's a big gap.
There's a big gap, and that's also another issue. I've had people, brand new cars, pay $10,000 for the car. It's totaled now. They're only getting $8,000. Their loan's $9,000. What am I going to do? I can't get a new car. I can't pay off my loan. We recommend people buy gap insurance, but usually that won't help them if they don't have it. And so those are all the issues we have to look to and we have to try to resolve for them, to give them some guidance and say, listen, we're going to help put this puzzle back together for you. We're going to get you back on the road to recovery, and we're here to help you in that process. And that's what we do.
Now, you talk about the loss of a family member or the injury of a family member. What do you do to help a family make their way through this?
Well, it's important to, when we represent a client, we never really represent one client, we represent the whole family. Because we need to give guidance to the spouse of what they need to be able to do in order to receive lost wages through their PIP insurance. We need to give guidance to their spouse and to their family members about where the injured person needs to go, their loved one needs to treat with. What guidance, what answers do they need to have in order to try to get some some balance in their life that's thrown out of balance because of this crash.
Well, again, you bring up one more point out of the blue that I wouldn't even think to begin as just an accident haver. Lost wages.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I would be concerned about my rental car right off the bat, or my injuries.
Yeah.
But now I can't work.
You know, I hate to say this, but I know Matt and I have both seen this, particularly in the workers' comp arena. Person gets hurt, they're out of work, they're trying to live on 60% of their wages. They can't get the medical care they need. They may need surgery and can't get back to work. Next thing, their house goes into foreclosure. Next thing, the wife and children are finding another place to live, and a person who was the primary caretaker oftentimes finds themselves basically with no one in their life anymore. It's a very, very sad circumstance, and if you don't have aggressive representation, unfortunately you can find yourself in that predicament.
Because even in an auto arena, I mean, if you do get lost wages through your PIP insurance, they pay 60% of your lost wages. A lot of families are living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
They have a 40% decrease in their wages. How are they going to handle that?
It's a big hit to take. Now,
It is.
before we wrap, motorcycle accidents. There's so many motorcycles out now, and some of them drive carefully, and some of them are using a lane that isn't a lane.
The problem with motorcycles accidents is that people really get hurt very bad in very minor accidents on a motorcycle, and it usually involves broken bones, orthopedic injuries, a trip to the ER, into surgery. Very, very difficult. I've represented a lot of nice people driving motorcycles who are minding their business, but people don't see them. And so the big issue for those guys or those women is people turn left right in front of them or pull out right in front of them despite them slamming on their brakes. It's not a good outcome, and if you're a motorcycle operator, I highly encourage you to wear a helmet.
Good advice, as always. If you have any legal questions for Perenich and Carroll, aggressive representation.
That's
I
right.
like that.
I'm heading back to the office. Call us.
You can check them out as always via our website or their studio10.tv. Call Perenich and Carroll at 1-800-5-FLA-LAW or on their website, which one of my favorite websites here, voiceoftheinjured.com.
That's us.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very
Tim.
much, Tim.
Good to see you again. Have a great rest of
Thank you.
Monday.
Thank
set
you.
set your clocks. Coming up, Michelle gets the scoop on an athletic and artistic event geared towards Tampa Bay residents with physical disabilities, but open to everyone. Stay with us.
This segment was paid for by the law office of Perenich and Carroll.